Okay, we're talking scrum halves today. We've got Graham with us. It is the CTST team of the century. It is very much taken shape now, and what a side it is. We're talking scrum halves. We're talking number sevens, and boy, have we had some good number sevens over the years. This will be another. This will be another stacked shortlist from Graham. So six of them, scrum halves. Graham, who you got for us?
So first one, again, I'm going back into 30s and I'm picking Les Juicy Adams.
He's my
Les
pick
joined
already. He's my pick already for the nickname. I love it. I love it.
um, joined us in 1934 and stayed with us until 1942. 196 appearances and 39 tries, including one at Wembley in 1935. Um, Signed from Huddersfield for the princely sum of 500 quid. But it again was big money back in them
Back in the day, yeah.
days. Um, and went on to represent Yorkshire, England, and Great Britain. He was actually the first player to win Challenge Cups with three different clubs.
That is a hell of a trivia stat. I like that.
Huddersfield, Leeds, and Cass. Um, he joined. Sadly, he joined the RAF during the Second World War and were killed in the Burma campaign in 1945. Sadly, so it's funny what things that you find out when you're
Mm,
trying to
absolutely.
do some research about somebody's playing career and find out that they were a rear gunner in RAF. Uh,
One of my favorite things about this team of the century is the little tidbits we're learning. To be fair, about these old
yeah,
players, so it's
yeah,
I'm hoping everyone listening is enjoying this as much as I am because it's
yeah.
quite
Still
an
don't beat
experience.
Arthur Atkinson and he's selling alcohol out of hours.
Not quite, still my favorite.
Yeah.
The hardest story from last episode, pretty good as well.
Yeah. So the next one is literally straight after the war. So George Langfield played for Casper between 1945 and 1952. Um, when I speak to my dad about players from days gone by, he talks about him as being his favourite scrum half during, from his time watching. And, he started watching in 1945 and don't get to as many games as we'd like him to do nowadays. But, you know, still, when every time I speak to him, it's still first part call. It isn't how are you, anybody or anything like that. It's always, what do we reckon? And I'm sure it's the same when you speak to your dad as well.
Absolutely.
But George played 228 times for Cass, scoring 62 tries, 370 goals and 21 drop goals for 968 points. He made his debut for Cass in a 7-2 win against Bramley, and his last match was a defeat. We lost at Wakefield in the 1951-52 season. Went on to Saints and played in a losing Challenge Cup final for Huddersfield against Huddersfield in 1953. So he makes the second choice of my shortlist. The third one, most people will be able to guess that this guy was going to be in here. 1958, he signed and left the club in 1971. 329 appearances, 66 tries, 4 goals, 14 drop goals for a total of 234 points. Partner of Alan Hardesty for all those years. Um, we can't have one H-bomb without the other. And so Keith Eckworth also makes my shortlist. Real character with Eppie. Absolute real character. Once met, never forgotten.
Absolutely.
Not much I can say
Absolutely.
about that. As many, you list the honours that Alan won, Floodlit trophies, Challenge Cups, scored a try at Wembley in 1969, was part of the Ashes winning squad in 1970. You know, yeah, Epi had to be in that shortlist.
100%. 100%.
The next one I have gone for is the man who succeeded Epi, and that's Gary Stevens. Gary joined club in 1969 and left in 1980. During that time, he 315 appearances for club and scored 109 tries. Yorkshire caps, five of them, cap for England, cap for Great Britain 5 times, and it was in the 1979 GB Tour of Australia, and he was a crucial part of the team that won the John Player Yorkshire Cup and Floodlit Trophy at mid 70s. Um, he won He was joint winner of the man of the match in the when we beat Blackpool in the John Player Trophy with a guy called Howard Allen. He scored a try that day. With, absolutely top draw. One thing that you always got from Gary, the opposition scrum half never played well against him, or very rarely played well against him, and that I think that's as big a compliment as you can play to some pace
Yeah,
someday. And he had a couple of spells at Manly in '70s as well. One of the few British players to have won a grand final. Alongside him, he won the grand final in 1976 with Manly, and with Steve Norton and Phil Lowe as other Brits in there. They'd only previously been Dick Hudder, Dave Bolton, and Malcolm Reilly, who was Brits, had won a grand final. And great that Steve Norton, Gary Stevens, Malcolm Reilly, and then later on Kevin Ward
quite
all
the
did it for
trend.
Manly.
Yeah. Yeah, that connection between the two clubs that talk about nowadays, don't really talk about it too much nowadays, but certainly a strong connection back in the day between Manly and Castleford. Quite a
Yeah.
historic connection, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we sold him to Wigan for 35,000 in 1980. So again, big transfer fee at the time. And he went on to play for Halifax and won the league in 85, 86. Yeah, 85, 86, and a Challenge Cup winning side in 87 when they beat Saints, the famous Mark Eller, Mark Elliott, where he got and John Pendleton knocked the ball out of his hands going over for what would have won the game for Saints.
Phenomenal career. Phenomenal
Yeah,
career, Gareth Stevens. He's probably not, yeah, I guess, like I say, this list of scrum halves is so illustrious that, he's not even a shoe-in to make it. And what a career he had there. That's quite quite an education for me, even. So, yeah, Gareth Stevens, what a career he had. Who's next on the shortlist, Graham?
Um, again, the man that followed Gary, and that's Bob Beamore. Um, 293 appearances from the for the club. 99 tries, 518 goals, 9 drop goals, just short of 1,400 points. Fantastic point scorer. And he holds the record still for points in the season in 83, 84 when he scored 334 points. Um, Famously, Lansdowne Trophy winner in 1986 with a try and what turned out to be the crucial drop goal that clinched the victory. Yeah, so early in the game, relatively speaking, and when we think now, if you win a game by a point, it's a last minute drop goal or last few
Mm.
minutes. Bob kicked it, midway through first half. You know,
They count just as
that
much.
crystal ball moment in it. That it was the sort
They
of
count just as much whenever you kick them, don't they?
yeah,
So
yeah. So I think Bob was unfortunate that it came at a time when there were some really good scrum halves, and sadly he never got any international recognition. Um, probably probably the best player at that time not to get an international cap. Um, yeah, but he makes my shortlist as well.
100%. Is that like everyone on the shortlist, or have we still got time for a couple more?
We've got one more,
Hit us with it.
and you can probably guess who this is going to be.
I think so. There's a couple of contenders though. It does show before you say the final member of the shortlist. It is quite remarkable, to be fair, the run of sevens that we had over the years. I mean, you're talking, Hep with their 58, pretty much 58 right through to the 90s. There, you've got a period of three players
Yeah,
that were just
yeah.
absolutely sensational, and like I
You've
say,
got.
and
I
there's
mean,
still a
like
couple more to come.
with Gary Stevens, there was a time when we had two really good scrum halves, Gary and a guy called Clive Pickerill. And so when we won the Yorkshire Cup in '77, Clive started at scrum half, Gary was on the bench, and they swapped at half time. And back in those days, if you once you'd been made a substitution, it couldn't be reversed. You couldn't that
Yeah.
player couldn't come back on. So, but Malcolm did it quite a bit where one week Gary had played at start and Clive had come off bench and vice versa. So
What a nice choice to be able to make, eh?
yeah, and we had one or two others. A lad called Jamie Walsh came through as a scrum half, but ended up playing on wing
Mm.
for and a number of appearances on wing. Scored quite a few tries, but couldn't get in because he couldn't get in as a scrum half.
One of the
So there's a
one of
long
the
list.
tougher shortlists. This one of the tougher shortlists. I think it is to say. It
Yeah,
just shows the talent. So who is the final member of the shortlist, Graham?
yeah. You'll not be nobody will be surprised. It's Gailey. Um, Joined us in 2015 and made an impact straight away. He so much so that he won Albert Goldthorpe in his first season with us. And then again in 16, and then again in 17 when he also won Man of Steel. That just shows what impact he had on club.
And the
And
consistency, I think, as well. So
yeah,
you've got to be consistent to win that.
yeah, and if you think that 18, he missed like 3 or 4 months at season, and without him we lost his way a bit. And then 19, he missed the full season, and then buggered off.
Went to the dark side.
Then buggered off. But he didn't do bad after that, did he? I mean, he went and
Went and won a Challenge Cup, didn't he?
won the
So fair
Challenge
play to
Cup
him.
and that as well. So, but an absolutely great career, and he was just what we needed at the time. He would have proper general on field, proper roll your sleeves up, scrum half, and a proper general on field. I mean, and we forget that with Shenny getting injured in that first game in 16, he
Mm.
captained side all the way through 16 as well.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Gailey. Obviously, is for helping us through that period and playing so well through that period. Not a player ever had it given as well. It's not like we signed this big money transfer to come in. He was
No.
immediately gonna hit it off. Obviously, he had his time at Harlequins, he had his time at Bradford. Obviously, didn't quite make it through that lead system. He had so many good players ahead of him, I suppose, at the
Yeah,
Rhinos,
I
didn't he?
think
So he always found it tough.
he'd had a spell at Doncaster as well,
Yeah, yeah, he did.
in his early career as well. So, he'd done it tough, hadn't he?
I
And
mean, for a
then
player that was essentially relegated the year before, with Bradford, and then just to come in and, like I say, immediately make Albert Goldthorpe, as you say, three on the bounce, is pretty unbelievable. And like I say, I've said this before, I think when we look back on Luke Gale's career in 20, 30 years' time, it will be one of those almost what ifs a little bit because he's
yeah,
pretty much he's 2 games away from being a true great of the game. Full stop. There's a grand
yeah,
final there, and a couple months later there's a World Cup final where there's an ankle tap, and he could have been a World Cup winning seven. So
yeah,
yeah, a phenomenal player, and perhaps just didn't quite get over there at the final hurdle, but boy, he was
yeah.
good.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but at end of 17, if those two incidents are the two things that have happened in his favour, you'd have just took your books away then, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%.
Life don't get better than that, does it?
It won't get better than that. I wouldn't have left Australia if I was him. That would have been it, I think. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
have stayed in Brisbane forever, I think, and that'd have been the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, another phenomenal shortlist as we've discussed. Loads of incredible sevens have played for Cass, obviously. Tough decision, really. Tough decision, but what have you gone for? Who is the scrum half in this team of the century?
It was a tough decision, but ultimately, as I've said in previous podcasts when we've done teams and that, I'm a lover of partnerships. So with Alan Hardesty at 6, there could only be Keith Epworth at 7.
It's tough
It's
to have a conversation about one without the
H,
other, isn't
the
it?
H bombs reunited.
Yeah, as there should be, as there should be. Yeah, why not? Why not? Like you say, the longevity he had there as well, as you say, 58 to 71 was it at the club.
Yeah.
The record speaks for itself, the honours speak for itself. Again, I really think being part of that Great Britain side that won the Ashes as well elevates you to such a level as well, as obviously it did with Allen and a few other players in this team.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, his career after he left Cass, he went on to Leeds, then Hull FC, and then retired unbelievably in 1982.
Wow, that's incredible
Yeah,
longevity, isn't it?
he went to Bramley and retired as a player at Bramley in 82.
Were he
Uh,
60? What was at that point? Jesus.
Incredible. Well, if it had been, say, I don't know, 17 in 58,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's too. It's not quite
We're too long to the recording of these sections for doing the maths, but yeah, just an
yeah.
unbelievable
But
longevity
again,
career.
like I said about all these players, 5 Yorkshire caps, 11 Great Britain appearances, member of the 70 Ashes winning squad. Um, and he also represented a Commonwealth 13 against New Zealand in 1965.
That's a new one. Is that an official cap? That's a strange one.
It's there on his stats, there on his representative record.
I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it. Yeah, fantastic pick. Fantastic pick. Happy will be in there. as R7. As you say, the H bombs reunited. Obviously, we lost Happy a couple of years ago as well. So, very, very fitting. I believe that he should be in this team, but it's not a sentimental pick. Very much deserved. Very much deserved to be in this team of the century. That is for sure. That is the scrum half locked in.